Cisopromatum Art Foundation Incorporated, Lexington, Kentucky, presents Crayon Experiments. This project is funded by a grant from the Partners for Youth Foundation. We're going to do some crayon techniques, crayon experiments, and Isabel is here to demonstrate. So she's going to start by showing us how a crayon can be used by using the tip of the crayon. Usually it comes with a point on it. It gets dull over time. You can sharpen it with a pencil sharpener, crayon sharpener. You can also use the back end of the crayon to make marks and draw. So that's another technique. And you can use the side of a crayon. If you take the paper off, which is not illegal to take the paper off, you can take the paper off and then using the side of the crayon, you can get a lot of color all at once if you have a big area to do. So that's some ways to use your crayon. Now also, you can take multiple crayons together if you want to, and start drawing lines using multiple crayons. And in this case, Isabel has six crayons. She has 6 crayons, and she's just drawing some, it ends up you drawing some patterns. And you can write words also, and she is writing a word which says, she turns it around, play, which is definitely something I support. You should play. When you're using crayons or any other art supply, have fun and play. So this technique, I believe she's put a rubber band around her crayons, and she chose 6, but you can use 2 or 3 or 4 and use a string or use one of those hair things, anything a little elastic to tighten it up, and just bundle them together. Try using the pointed end or try using the back end, which is flat. Anything you want to. Since you're playing and drawing lines and playing with the crayons, you can do any variety of things you'd like to do. So now we're going to see what happens if you rub with a crayon over a surface and do a crayon rubbing. In this case, Isabel has a little stool that has a nice pattern on it she chose. She's using the side of her crayon, so you have to take the paper off to do this. Or if you have a thick crayon, it actually gives you really nice results. And there's the pattern she was using, and she's actually used the dark blue. Now she's curious what's going to happen if she rubs over a piece of cardboard. It's just a regular old cardboard. The regular old cardboard you might have around your house. The key to rubbing is, try a different color and go sideways, turn it and see what you get. So when you're rubbing something, you're picking up the pattern of whatever is underneath. And with that, you can come up with some interesting textures. These pieces of paper from rubbings, you can just use them, leave them as they are, or you can use them in other artwork, which Isabel will show later on. She'll take a couple of pieces of this and use it. So that's how you can do a rubbing, and they work best if the paper is already off of the crayon. Do a demonstration of a rubbing if you're using the tip of the crayon on the back end. And yes, she's going to show you what happens if she tries using the crayon a different way. It fills in more of the space, so that's still an experiment and a technique you can do. You might like the effect of using the tip or the back end. The side lets you cover more area all at once, but she's still picking up that pattern that's underneath in the cardboard. So try leaves, try the sidewalk, you decide. Just make sure that you don't damage anything in doing this, because it's possible to get crayon on something or to crush something in the process. Also, don't worry if your crayon breaks, because these crayons are somewhat thin, and when you're using a lot of pressure to do this, the crayon can just pop. That's not a problem really. You can still make use of your crayons. There's other things you can do. They still work. A broken crayon is still a good crayon. So that's a demonstration of rubbing, crayon rubbing. One other thing that you can do with your crayons is blend them. If you layer one color over another, you'll get a different color. So if you know something about the color wheel, if you have red and you combine red with yellow, you get another color. And with crayons, you can layer them together and you can see that. So red and yellow gave orange. Now Isabel's got her yellow down and she's going to use blue. And blue and yellow will give you a greenish color. It can vary depending on what crayons you're using, but you can see when she's overlapping what happens. And then if she adds red to the blue, she will get yet another color and overlapping those. So do use your crayons any way you like, but be sure to play with them and combine colors and layer colors and find ways to do more than just draw a line or just color with one color. Crayons are very versatile. They're great fun if you play with them. And you'll hear me say that word some more. Play, play, play with your crayons. So Isabel is demonstrating making, in fact, she's going to go from this project and show you how layering one color over another one and then scratching through it can give you a fun art result. Using the layering technique, Isabel's going to demonstrate using a small area how if you layer one color of crayon down nice and thick and then come back on top of that color with a little darker color, seems to work the best. She's going to layer another color on top and then draw into it and get a picture. And this is another one of those cases where the crayon could break, but don't worry about it. Just use the short piece if you get done. But this requires you to really color a nice thick layer. And we're doing a demonstration, we might not have as much layer as you do. But when you do it, color, 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 color. You can change colors, you can put as many colors as you want. The idea is that to make it thick enough so when you start to scratch through the layers, you can see a design appear. Isabel is using an open paper clip. You might try a needle if you don't have a paper clip. If you don't have a paper clip, maybe you have a toothpick, you can try that. But the tip of the paper clip seems to work really well, and she's drawing through the layers down to the bottom one. In the process, she's removing the crayon and probably removing some of the bottom layer of crayon, but you still can see the original pink color she started with. So you're creating a drawing, and it can be anything you want. She's doing a flower, it looks like. You could do a cat, a fish, your family, anything you want to draw, words if you want to. And so that's one technique where layering the crayons gives you an opportunity to create a neat piece of art, not just color. And cool, what does that say?
Yeah, cool.
I'm looking at it. All right. So there's one technique where layering the crayons gives you a really nice drawing. Now she's going to go straight into another one where she layers the colors. She's going to do the same thing first. She's going to layer two colors. Usually the lighter color, brighter color on the bottom is good, and there goes the broken crayon because Isabel is really strong, and you'll find you are too. You against the crayon, you're going to win. So she's layering a bright color underneath. She just picked a small area. You can color a whole piece of paper if you want to, but it will take you a while to do that. So if you pick a smaller space, as a matter of fact, it's probably easier if the crayon's already broken. So she's working that one. So she's layering purple over orange this time, and she's going to show you a different technique for creating a drawing in the crayon. So when you're doing this, make as thick a layer as you can. The thicker the layer, the more you're drawing and it will show, but even a thin layer will work, so don't worry about that. All right, now what she's going to do, she knows where her crayon is. She's folded her paper over, and she's going to try a toothpick this time, which also could break. All these tools have a way of wanting to break. Now, when you use a toothpick, you might not see exactly what you're drawing, but we're going to see the results. And also, she's going to try a ballpoint pen after she does that one. So you can see it picked up the color. You have two drawings. You have one that's just the lines she drew, and the other one is in the crayon. So she's going to fold it over again, and I'm going to give her a ballpoint pen in just a second. So this way you would see what you're drawing. And she's finding some edges of the crayon area. She can kind of see through the paper where her crayon is. So she's using a ballpoint pen this time, which also lets her see what she's drawing and where things are. You can get really detailed doing this. And she's just going to make it simple and then turn it over. And she's actually added to the drawing she already did. So now she's got two different drawings. One is simply lines and the other one has the color. So she's done some other examples earlier of both techniques. I'm going to show you a couple of other drawings so you can see that this can be very, very detailed. It doesn't have to be just a simple drawing. You can do lots and lots of lines like she's done on these. The color is beautiful. If you overlap the edges somewhat, as she did in this one, then that adds to the design also. So that's the one where you draw straight into the crayon. This is the one where you fold the paper. You either fold the paper on top of itself or add another piece of paper on top. And then you get two drawings really from that one. So that's two techniques of layering crayon and then drawing images.
I'm Isabel. So basically, as a full recap, I did all of the little projects you can do with crayons on my own. So first I did the blending, and I blended red and blue to get purple. It's a little difficult to see, but I did blue and yellow to get green, and red and yellow to get orange. And then I decided that I wanted to see what the colors would look like on different types of paper. So this is just regular white paper, this is colored, this is like green paper, and then this is brown paper. You could get it from like a lunch bag or a Trader Joe's bag. And then a little further down I did my own drawings. So to get sort of this effect, you can color super heavy and then spray it with water. I think it's very pretty. You can make it shiny, and then right here are the rubbings that I did, and then I cut them out to make a collage. And so, yeah.
So using some of the things that Isabel made earlier, demonstrating rubbings and the crayon drawing, she's going to use, she's going to make a card, or make two cards actually. This one she's using rubbing she did on cardboard and putting it on the front of a card. And that was one of her drawings, her layered drawings of crayon, and she's going to put this one in the inside of the card. And that's just another thing you can do with the things that you have created with crayon. You can draw a picture and just hang up a picture, put it in a frame, whatever you want. You can make a collage image and a picture like she showed us earlier. Or you can make, or you can make cards using some of the crayon techniques that you did and send them to people. This one, she's got one going, that's a happy birthday card. You can make a bunch of cards and not write anything in them at all until you're ready, and then you can give them as a holiday card, or a thank you for being nice card, or happy Mother's Day, Father's Day, Grandmother's Day, Grandfather's Day, anything you want. So That one she's created as a birthday card. This one, she used the rubbing and she's gonna write her message inside instead of outside. Either way, it's a hand-crafted, hand-created, personal. People love getting things made, handmade. So make good use of your crayons, your crayon drawings. You're awesome. So that's a nice one to send to someone. So thank you, Isabel, for demonstrating these techniques, and I hope you audience, you viewers, will play with your crayons.